Have you ever wondered why some women can't stop thinking about a certain man, even when they know he's not perfect? It's not random attraction, it's a deep psychological pull that makes them crave him on a level they can't explain. This isn't just about looks or status, it's about something far more powerful, sexual chemistry that rewires her emotions. When a woman is sexually hooked, logic takes the back seat and desire takes the wheel. She starts to chase, not because she has to, but because she needs to. It's an obsession that makes her check her phone, replay memories, and want more of his presence. What triggers this level of craving? What makes her cross the line from casual attraction into pursuit? Men who understand this psychology hold the key to irresistible power in relationships. Because once you know the hidden triggers, you'll see why women chase without even realizing it. And today, we're going to break it all down for you. 1. The power of emotional imprint. When a woman becomes sexually hooked on a man, it's not just the physical act that lingers in her mind, it's the emotional imprint that follows. You see, attraction leaves marks, and sex leaves memories that replay like a movie inside her head. When she's with a man who makes her feel alive, desired, and completely surrendered, her brain links those moments with him in particular. It's not the act itself, it's the way he made her feel during it. That feeling becomes addictive, and suddenly, no other man measures up. Psychologically, women are more prone to forming deep emotional bonds after intimacy because of a powerful cocktail of hormones like oxytocin, the bonding chemical. This means every time she's with him, she isn't just enjoying the experience. Her body is literally wiring her to crave more of him. She starts associating his presence with comfort, pleasure, and a rush of emotions she can't replicate elsewhere. And that's why she starts chasing. It's not just attraction anymore, it's an imprint burned into her subconscious. Think about it like this. If a song gets stuck in your head, you hum it again and again without realizing it. That's exactly what happens when a woman is sexually hooked on a man, except the song is him. His scent, his touch, his presence becomes a melody she can't turn off. She doesn't want to either, because the memory of that chemistry becomes her escape, her drug, her secret obsession. This is why some women chase men they know aren't even good for them. It's not always about logic. It's not about whether he has money, looks, or stability. It's about the mark he left. The more unique and intense the emotional imprint, the harder it becomes for her to detach. Even if she tells herself to move on, she keeps circling back because the craving feels stronger than her reasoning. So, when a man understands how to create an unforgettable emotional imprint, he becomes unforgettable himself. He becomes the standard against which she measures all others. And in her world, there's only one outcome. She starts chasing him because she doesn't want to lose the high that only he provides. 2. The irresistible pull of unpredictability. One of the strongest reasons women chase men they're sexually hooked on is unpredictability. Most men make the mistake of being too available, too routine, too easy to figure out. But the man who triggers obsession is the one she can't fully read. He's not a puzzle she solves once. He's a mystery that keeps unfolding. And nothing fuels a woman's desire more than the thrill of not knowing what comes next. When he doesn't reveal all of himself, she's constantly left wanting more. One day he's teasing, playful, and magnetic. The next day he's calm, distant, and hard to reach. This roller coaster of emotions is intoxicating. Why? Because it keeps her guessing. The brain craves novelty, and unpredictability provides exactly that. Every interaction feels fresh, uncertain, and charged with tension. That tension builds into desire, and that desire slowly transforms into obsession. Think of it this way. If you know the ending of a movie, it stops being exciting. But if every scene shocks you, surprises you, and leaves you hanging, you're glued to the screen. That's how women feel when they're around a man who doesn't give away all his cards. She can't predict his moves, his words, or his reactions, and that unpredictability keeps her hooked. What's fascinating is how this psychology works against her logic. Even if she knows she should play it cool, she finds herself leaning in, texting first, trying to decode him. The unpredictability makes her invest. And once she invests her time, emotions, and energy, she starts chasing because she doesn't want to lose the reward she hopes is waiting at the end. The more she chases, the more hooked she becomes. It's almost like gambling. She doesn't win every time, but the time she does feel his full attention, the rush is unforgettable. That rare validation becomes priceless, and she's willing to chase harder for it. This is why unpredictable men are so magnetic. They don't feed her desire on a schedule. They feed it in doses that keep her addicted. So when a man masters the art of unpredictability, not through games, but through genuine depth and variety, he becomes irresistible. He's not the man she figures out once. He's the man she chases endlessly, hoping to unlock the next layer of the mystery. 3. The addiction to emotional highs and lows. When a woman is sexually hooked on a man, what truly fuels her obsession isn't just the pleasure of being with him, it's the emotional roller coaster he puts her through. Human psychology is wired to chase what feels scarce and unpredictable. The moments of intense passion, mixed with moments of distance or tension, create a pattern that mirrors addiction. She starts craving those highs, even if it means enduring the lows. Here's how it works. When he gives her attention, affection, or intimacy, her brain lights up with dopamine, the same chemical released when someone wins a jackpot or takes a hit of their favorite drug. That high feels incredible. But then, when he pulls back, goes silent, or becomes distant, she feels the crash. The loss makes her anxious, restless, and desperate for the next hit. Instead of walking away, she doubles down, chasing him harder in hopes of feeling that high again. This is the same psychological mechanism casinos use with the slot machines. Unpredictable rewards keep people glued to the game. She never knows exactly when he'll give her attention or when intimacy will happen, but that very uncertainty keeps her addicted. The more she waits, the more she chases, and the more powerful the high feels when she finally wins his focus. What's important to understand is that this cycle bypasses her logic. She might know he's not perfect. She might know it's not healthy. But obsession isn't rational, it's chemical. The highs and lows create an intensity that steady, predictable men simply can't replicate. That's why she doesn't chase the man who texts her every morning on schedule. She chases the one who keeps her heart racing and her emotions spinning out of control. This emotional turbulence convinces her that what she feels is special. Because the intensity is so strong, she interprets it as deep passion rather than realizing it's a psychological loop. And once she equates that intensity with love or desire, she can't walk away. She doesn't just want him, she needs him. In the same way an addict needs their next fix. That's why women don't just get attracted to these men, they chase them. Because the highs are so intoxicating and the lows so unbearable that chasing becomes the only way to feel whole again. 4. The fantasy of exclusivity. When a woman is sexually hooked on a man, her mind doesn't just replay the physical attraction, it begins building an entire fantasy around him. One of the strongest psychological triggers is the idea that she is special to him in a way no one else is. The fantasy of exclusivity is powerful because it convinces her that she isn't just another option. She is the one he truly desires. And that belief alone can make her chase harder than she ever intended. Here's the truth. Women are naturally competitive when it comes to love and desire. When she's sexually invested, she doesn't want to share. Even if she never admits it out loud, her ego and emotions push her to fight for a man's attention when she feels it slipping away to others. The thought of another woman having the same intimacy she experienced feels unbearable. It stings her pride, shakes her confidence, and ignites her need to prove she's irreplaceable. That's when chasing kicks in, because winning back exclusivity feels like survival to her emotions. What's fascinating is that the man doesn't even need to say she's exclusive. Often, it's the illusion of exclusivity that hooks her. Maybe he gives her a certain look, says something that makes her feel deeply desired, or treats her differently than he treats others. In her mind, those subtle moments are proof that she has a unique hold on him. Even if logic whispers otherwise, her heart clings to the idea that their connection is rare and one of a kind. This illusion creates a dangerous loop. The more she feels she's losing him to other distractions, the harder she works to pull him back. That effort makes her invest even more emotionally, and the more she invests, the deeper her attachment grows. She doesn't just want him, she wants him to choose her above all others. That's why she keeps chasing, even when she swore she wouldn't. The fantasy of exclusivity keeps her hooked because it feels like a prize worth fighting for. To her, Being the one woman who captures his full attention isn't just attractive, it's intoxicating. It validates her, excites her, and makes her feel powerful. And until she feels she's won that exclusivity, she'll keep chasing him, driven by the belief that she can't let another woman take what she believes is hers. 5. The illusion of control. One of the most powerful reasons women chase men they're sexually hooked on is the illusion of control. On the surface, she tells herself that she's choosing to pursue him, that she's the one steering the connection, but underneath it's the opposite. She's chasing because he's already taken control of her emotions without her realizing it. And nothing fuels obsession more than the subtle tension between feeling powerless and convincing yourself you're in control. Here's how it plays out. After an intense sexual or emotional experience with him, she feels deeply bonded. But when he doesn't give her constant reassurance, when he pulls back, or when his attention shifts unpredictably, her mind scrambles to close the gap. She tells herself, I'll make him text back. I'll make him stay. I'll win him over again. Suddenly, she's no longer simply enjoying the connection. She's trying to control it, and the harder she tries, the more she gets tangled in the chase. This illusion is addictive because it tricks her into believing she's still the one with the power. She thinks if she puts in more effort, texts more, dresses better, shows up at her best, he'll return to giving her that intense high she craves. But what she doesn't realize is that the more effort she invests, the deeper his influence grows. She's not chasing for fun. She's chasing because she needs to prove she can win his attention back. What makes this especially powerful is the push and pull dynamic. Every time he gives her a little validation, she feels victorious, like she just gained control again. But when he pulls away, the illusion shatters, and she runs harder to regain it. This cycle becomes a loop. Highs when she feels in control, lows when she feels powerless, and it's exactly this emotional back and forth that keeps her locked in obsession. At its core, the illusion of control is why women often chase men they know aren't good for them. Walking away feels like losing, and admitting she doesn't control the situation feels unbearable. So instead, she doubles down, investing more, chasing harder, trying desperately to rewrite the story in her favor. But in reality, it's him who has set the rules of the game. That's the paradox. She thinks she's chasing to win, but in truth, she's already been captured. 6. The craving for validation. At the heart of many chases lies one powerful human need: validation. When a woman becomes sexually hooked on a man, it's not just his presence she craves, it's the recognition she gets from him. Every compliment, every glance, every moment of desire he shows her reinforces a message. You're wanted. You're irresistible. You're special. That validation doesn't just stroke her ego, it feeds her identity. And once she tastes it, she begins to chase it. The psychology behind this is simple yet dangerous. Humans tie self-worth to external approval, and in intimate relationships, this is magnified. When a man gives her validation through passion, attention, or desire, it hits deeper than a casual compliment from anyone else. His validation matters more because she has emotionally and physically invested in him. His approval becomes the measure of her value, and without it, she feels incomplete. This creates a powerful loop. She feels euphoric when he validates her, but anxious and restless when he doesn't. The silence gnaws at her, the distance feels unbearable, and her self-image starts to slip. To restore balance, she chases, texting first, seeking his attention, replaying moments in her mind, because every interaction feels like an opportunity to win back that sense of worth. What's fascinating is how this craving turns into obsession. It's not always about the man himself, it's about what his attention represents. To her, his desire is proof that she's desirable. His passion is proof that she's powerful. Without it, doubt creeps in. Why isn't he chasing me? Did I lose my spark? Am I not enough? Those insecurities push her to chase harder, not because she wants him, but because she needs him to confirm her value again. This is why women sometimes chase men who don't even treat them well. The very fact that he withholds validation makes it rarer, more valuable, more intoxicating. And like water in the desert, she will run after it, even if it comes in drops. Because when he finally does validate her again, the high is overwhelming. It feels like victory, proof, and relief all in one. In the end, validation is one of the strongest hooks a man can unconsciously give. And once she ties her sense of self to his approval, she'll chase it endlessly because it feels less like a choice and more like survival. 7. The fear of losing the high. At the core of sexual obsession lies a powerful fear, the fear of losing the high. When a woman is hooked on a man, it's not just his touch or his presence that keeps her coming back, it's the emotional and physical intensity he awakens in her. That high becomes her private escape, her guilty pleasure, her rush of adrenaline and dopamine, and the thought of losing it terrifies her more than she admits. That fear alone is enough to make her chase. Think about it. Once she's experienced a kind of intimacy that makes her feel alive, desired, and electrified, everything else seems dull in comparison. Other men feel boring, predictable, or simply not enough. Her brain has been rewired to crave the unique emotional cocktail that only he gives her. And so, even when she tries to pull away, the memory of that high drags her back. She chases, not always because she wants to, but because she's terrified of never feeling that way again. This fear of loss is one of the strongest motivators in human psychology. People will often work harder to avoid losing something than to gain something new. In her case, the man isn't just a person. He represents access to an experience she doesn't want to give up. That's why she tolerates mixed signals, inconsistency, or even disappointment. Losing him feels like losing the only door to the emotional world she secretly craves. What's more, this fear of losing the high makes her overvalue him. She convinces herself that he's irreplaceable, that no one else could ever give her the same intensity. This belief deepens her attachment and blinds her to alternatives. Even if logic whispers that she deserves better, fear screams louder. What if you never feel this again? That question alone keeps her chasing, sometimes against her own best interest. Ultimately, obsession is less about the man himself and more about the high he provides. The fear of losing it transforms desire into desperation, attraction into pursuit. And until she believes she can replace or surpass that experience elsewhere, she'll keep running after him because the idea of letting go feels like stepping into emptiness. That's why women don't just fall for these men, they chase them. Because walking away doesn't feel like losing a man. It feels like losing the most addictive high of her life. When you look at all these triggers together, the emotional imprint, the unpredictability, the highs and lows, the fantasy of exclusivity, the illusion of control, the craving for validation, and the fear of losing the high, you start to see why women chase men they're sexually hooked on. It's never just one reason. It's the combination that creates an unbreakable loop. Each point feeds into the next, locking her into a cycle where logic fades and desire dominates. She doesn't chase because she wants to. She chases because she feels compelled. Every part of her brain and body conspires against her, convincing her that this man is different, that this connection is special, that walking away would mean losing something she can't replace. The chemical highs are addictive. The unpredictability is intoxicating, and the validation is like oxygen. To her, chasing doesn't feel like weakness. It feels like survival. This is why women who are otherwise rational, confident, and independent can suddenly find themselves consumed by one man. It's not about his money, his looks, or his status. It's about how he makes her feel. He becomes the center of her inner world, not because he's objectively the best option, but because he has triggered the deepest psychological hooks: scarcity, mystery, validation, intensity, and fear of loss. And here's the raw truth. Once a woman is sexually hooked, she often ignores red flags, overlooks flaws, and pushes aside her own standards just to keep chasing that feeling. Because obsession has nothing to do with logic and everything to do with the emotions that bypass it. That's why some men seem impossible to forget. They leave an emotional mark that no one else can touch. They understand, consciously or unconsciously, how to create intensity, how to be unpredictable, and how to awaken both pleasure and longing at the same time. To a woman hooked on that, the chase isn't optional, it becomes inevitable. So the real secret is this: women don't chase men because they want to. They chase because they have to. Because once the psychology of obsession takes root, The line between choice and compulsion disappears, and what's left is desire so powerful it feels unstoppable.